Hey there, voice players, Geoff fans, welcome back to the channel. My name is Sohum and I'm on a mission to spread peace, love, and positivity through music. Today I'll be doing another double reaction to Geoff Castellucci, and I think we're in for a very interesting video today because the first reaction I'll be doing is to Geoff's hearing loss story. And when I got this request, I was immediately shocked to find out that Geoff may or may not be dealing with some version of hearing loss, especially given his profession, right? Being a musician, a singer, a writer, a composer, an arranger, all of those hats and more to some extent require, better than average hearing. And for hearing loss to be one of the things that Geoff may or, I don't actually know if it's Geoff, but at least for the intro, we'll assume it's Geoff, that he may or may not be afflicted by. It just makes the songwriting of Geoff, of voice play, all the more impressive. But regardless, it's also very important of a topic to speak on because many of us, even listeners, take for granted our own hearing without realizing the possible effects that continued music listening, or at least loud environments, can cause over time. But, I'm going to leave it to Geoff to explain all of the nitty-gritty and the story itself. But yeah, we're going to start with that, and then we'll follow it up with a reaction to You Don't Mess Around with Jim. So I hope the arrangement of this video makes sense. And before we do jump into this, a big thank you goes to two people today, Juliana and Silje, or Silje. I apologize, I don't know if I'm pronouncing your name right, but I want to thank you both so much for your requests, and I hope that it's okay that I combined these two together. I think it makes the video a little bit more interesting. But yeah, now let's just jump in.
Hey everybody, and welcome back. If you're new here, hello, glad to have you. My name is Geoff, and I usually make music videos. But this video is going to be a little bit different than what I've been doing lately. And as you can probably tell from the title, it's about hearing loss. Now, it's maybe not the most exciting topic, but it is something that's important to think about.
Yes.
Especially in my line of work. And it's also
Very
something
much so.
that is most likely going to affect, I'm not sure, all of us.
Affect, A-F-F-E-C-T. It took me forever to figure that one out.
At some point in our lives. In fact, it's affecting someone in my life right now. My wife, Kathy. Say hi, Kath.
What?
Perfect. So this is Kathy's story.
Of course, the interspersing of jokes. I love it.
Say hi, Kath.
What?
Perfect.
So it's not
this
Geoff.
is Kathy's story, and we thought we'd share it with you. Now, some of you out there may already know this because I've mentioned it on occasion, but Kathy was diagnosed with profound hearing loss in both ears right after we got married in the summer of 2007. That's Kathy. Now, notice the lack of people holding up cell phone cameras in the crowd? That's because this was pre-iPhone, because I'm old. But what does it mean, though? What is pre-iPhone? Well, it was a very dark time, and we had to hide from dinosaurs a lot.
True. Is that Kathy in there?
I'm kidding. The dinosaurs were our friends.
Yeah, it is.
Seriously, though, what is profound hearing loss? Well, here's an example of what you would hear if you have normal hearing. So notice how everything sounds like full, clear, and robust.
Yes.
Now this is what someone with Kathy's kind of hearing loss hears.
Whoa. Mid and high frequencies and volume drastically reduced. Yeah, super dampened, but the lows are not reduced. Maybe it still is, but the mids and highs are worse. And Geoff is a singer, so for Kathy not to be able to hear, that's so
It's
interesting.
a pretty drastic change. And as you can probably hear, the lyrics are muffled, the music is distant.
And I guess Kathy was herself a performer, right? So that certainly had to have impacted her performance ability. Wow.
The fullness of the sound is missing. It's like you're listening to your neighbor's music playing through your wall. Now, having some sort of hearing loss isn't all that unusual, and according to the good people who study this kind
The National Institute on Deafness and Other Communication
of
Disorders.
thing, 1 in 8 people in the US, or about 30 million folks, have hearing loss
1 in
both
8?
ears. So if you know more than 8 people, there's a good chance that you know someone
I know no one.
with hearing loss.
But only about 2% of adults have disabling hearing loss.
That's a joke.
Kathy just happens to be in that small percentage.
She's very special. Now, you're probably saying to yourself, how did this happen? She's so young and pretty and smart and wonderful.
Yes,
And
Jeff.
yes, you'd be right about all of those things. But to tell the story of how we
brownie
discovered
points.
Kathy's hearing loss, we've got to go back, like centuries ago. Literally.
Kathy and I met in 1997 when we were both professional Christmas carolers. It's a real thing.
We were both
Professional?
trying to make a career of singing, and there were a lot of opportunities in Orlando, where we live, for singers who can move well.
Orlando, like Orlando Studios? Or Universal Studios, rather?
And so we auditioned a lot and got cast in a few things around town. One of them being the Beetlejuice Rock and Roll Graveyard Review at Universal Studios.
Okay, literally Universal. And they're dressed up, as does Voice Play and Jeff now.
We were so pretty.
It all makes so
Kathy
much
and I had
sense.
started dating right around that same time. This was like in 2004 or something.
Additionally to working at the theme parks, we were both performing as much as we could. I was working with Voice Play a lot. Kathy had a few bands she worked around town with. Long story short, we were both doing a lot of music-type performance things. And most of them were pretty ridiculous.
Don't judge me. You know I look good in a bear backpack.
Is this where do you find one of these? Like Build-A-Bear, or I guess Universal?
Don't
That's
judge
funny.
me. You know I look good in a bear backpack.
Anyway, as part of our employment at Universal,
too
they
functional, I
required
don't
us to
think.
get yearly hearing tests to make sure they weren't ruining our hearing, and mine always came back normal. Kathy's, on the other hand, did not.
It was right around the same time that I noticed that Kathy always had the TV up just like a little too loud, and she always thought I was mumbling,
The
which,
signs.
in retrospect, is a huge red flag for hearing loss. If that sounds like someone you know, if it sounds like you, go and get your hearing checked.
By the time we stopped working at Universal in 2013, Kathy's hearing had really deteriorated. Not only that, but unknown to either of us, she was also suffering from something else, which I'll explain in a minute.
Now, I know what you're thinking. Well, you guys were musicians, you were exposed to loud music, pyrotechnics,
Right, the
and
environment.
the agonizing, nightmarish hell of being a theme park performer. Of course you have some sort of hearing loss. Well, not
Well, yeah, like a lot of this can be genetic too, or just happenstance. It doesn't always have to be environmental.
so fast, Fasty McFasterson. After seeing hearing specialists, doctors, genetic experts, we were told that Kathy's hearing loss is degenerative. So it's not caused by any kind of environmental or external stressor. It was just always going to happen.
And believe it or not, lots of musicians deal with hearing loss. Folks like Phil Collins, Huey Lewis, Grimes, Will.i.am, Moby, and of course, Beethoven.
Although, to be
Ludwig.
honest, Beethoven doesn't really deal with hearing loss so much anymore because you know.
Bro's gone.
he's dead.
What? I say he dead.
Shout out Beethoven.
Shout out.
The thing that made Kathy's hearing loss so difficult to deal with was not only because she was so young, but as it turns out, she also has something called Diplacusis disharmonica. Like I said,
Man, there's so many things I gotta learn. Diplacusis disharmonica. It's a cool name. Kind of, I feel like it could be used as like a band name.
Diplacusis disharmonica. Like I said, she's very special. What this means is that one ear perceives the sound normally, but the other ear hears the pitch differently, which is something that we didn't even realize existed at the time.
For example, if I play
What did he say? I just gotta like.
Which is something that we didn't even
Imprint this.
realize existed at the time.
Oh I gotta go back
special.
further.
What this means is that one ear perceives a sound normally, but the other ear hears the pitch differently.
Okay, so one is at baseline, the other is like a half note or like two half notes above or below. So you're basically constantly hearing dissonance. Even if somebody is speaking, you're hearing two layers of Sohum in your ear. One layer is already awful enough. You get two Sohums in your ear? That's crazy.
Which is something that we didn't even realize existed at the time.
For example, if I play a C on my pitch pipe, Kathy hears the C in one ear and some other not quite C tone in the other. It could be a B or a C sharp. Who knows? So combined, it would
up or
sound
down
like
half.
this. Gross.
You can see why performing or listening to music would be confusing at least.
Just muddled, quiet, dissonant. Maybe there would be a way to like write music that could accommodate such hearing, but I don't know, that seems like a very, very difficult task.
Trying to match pitch and stay in key became a real problem for her right around 2009, which is when she got her very first hearing aid. She just got one, just for the ear that was in the very worst shape, which looking back might not have been the best decision. Why? Well, I'll let you hear it right from the source.
Hi.
Hi. Well, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so just to give everybody an idea of what your hearing is like without your ears in, can you take them out for a second? I'm gonna cover my mouth because you also read lips pretty well. So I'm gonna cover my mouth and I'm gonna talk. You see if you can hear what I'm saying.
Okay.
You ready to try?
Yeah, you want me to take them out?
Take them out, let's see. Okay. Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now?
Okay. Let's see here. I think you're just the prettiest.
I'm not getting
Wow.
anything.
How about, do you like to eat shampoo?
Do you like candy truffles?
I do like candy truffles. Okay, so now let's see here. So our cat ate our goldfish.
Say it again.
Our cat ate our goldfish.
She's not gonna get that. Even if she like hears that correctly or reads the lips correctly, like that's an almost unbelievable sentence. She may not trust that she got it correct.
Yeah, it's like I'm not doing a good job. I'm in COVID world now. I'm not used to reading lips anymore because everybody's
yeah.
wearing masks.
Oh yeah, true.
Okay, we'll put them back in. So it makes a big difference.
3 years
so
ago.
tell me about the experience of first getting that very first hearing aid. What was that like?
The addition of the first hearing aid was somewhat helpful, but also it threw me a little off balance. So it was not very long before I started wearing two.
You said something interesting that you felt, because you just had the one. You said you felt off balance. Can you
Yes.
kind of explain?
There was still a loss in the other ear. And so now the one with the hearing aid was getting just an overload.
Yeah, it's overcompensating.
Would it be like putting an earplug in just one ear
Yes.
and the other ear is like normal?
And not even normal, just like the other
Right.
ear was like, whoa.
Super.
Right, because the other ear is also affected by hearing loss, being overloaded.
You know?
Super ear.
Yeah, so your ears are getting, and your brain is getting used to all this new information that's coming in.
That's so funny that you mentioned that, because I remember right after you got that first hearing aid, we were walking through a store, or maybe it was like Starbucks or something, and you're like,
Oh, that's weird. They're playing music in here today.
and I was like, no.
Every day,
They
right?
play music in here every day. You're just hearing it for the first time.
Right.
So things like background music, the humming of lights, your own footsteps, just
all a
all
wall
of
of
these things,
sound.
appliances, you're hearing all of it so loud.
It's like
for the first
overwhelming,
time. Yeah,
right?
it's very
Yeah.
overwhelming. But you just have to kind of push through it and allow yourself to adjust. It can also seriously like make your ears itch.
The hearing aids. That's so weird.
So I would always like yank them out and just
So after you got that very first hearing aid, we found through Lane's wife, Cindy, a fantastic audiologist, shout out to Scott McWilliams, who fit Kathy with a more powerful set of ears. and it like totally changed things for you.
It's important to find an audiologist who's willing to take the time to help you get the hearing aids programmed in a way that fits your specific needs.
And he's not the only one out there. Like he's
that's the thing. Find the ones that are willing to be, kind of on that journey with you. Ultimately, hearing aids have made a huge difference in my life, mostly because I can now ignore you on purpose instead of.
It's like that Black Mirror episode where you can just take your remote, mute somebody or block them like in real time, in real life.
An accident.
Ouch. Like aside from the obvious benefits of being able to understand conversations and be part of the hearing world, what are some of like the downsides to the technologically enhancing your hearing that people might not know about?
The world sounds tinnier. You have to remember to take them out. Anytime I get in the shower, there have been a handful of times where it's been touch and go. And
Don't you think about my wife getting in the shower? One of the ones that I people like would never think about is just like hugging.
Oh yeah, the feedback.
Hugging?
Can you hear that?
Whoa.
You always have to have the subtitles on. I've just gotten so used to it, and now if subtitles aren't on, I feel.
Yeah, I can imagine watching movies like in the theater being so impossible.
Like I'm missing some stuff, but like going to the movies would be difficult.
Bro.
Yes.
Because obviously a theater.
I need a
isn't gonna
lottery ticket or
subtitle
something.
They have like these subtitle glasses that they're offering
which I haven't
now.
tried yet.
Well, no, we haven't been to the theater, and
Once again, it's
we have a 4-year-old and also COVID, so we don't do anything
right.
because we're
That's true.
super boring.
I can't hear an alarm clock, and I don't sleep with my hearing aids in, so waking up in the morning, somebody has to wake me up.
Bad thunder and lightning. She has no idea. Leave us a comment and let us know. It's a thing that we've kind of struggled with. If there is an emergency, or if there's some sort of something and I'm not home, I have no idea how you'd be made aware of something like that. Like if somebody has to get a.
Oh, you would. My immediate thought would be some kind of powerful vibrational device that attaches to whatever part of your body you want. So in the case of an emergency, it can buzz really, like I guess with a lot of vigor, and shake you awake. Yeah, because you can't hear anything, so you probably need the physical sensation.
Hold of you in the middle of the night or whatever. I'm sure there's solutions out there. So if you happen to know of a way to solve that problem, hit us up below.
We think we may have solved the waking up problem with a sunrise alarm clock.
Well, I still wake you up.
He still has to.
Yeah, it turns on and it starts going. And I'm like, hey, turn that off.
Social gatherings or parties or anything like that, just everything is so you hear everything at the same level. So if there's music or there's a lot of people talking, it's like I hear just everybody. It's just a sea of sound. And so I shy away from conversation.
Right, because it's hard for you to distinguish speech
Right.
from just any other kind of noise.
Yeah, even
The voice play gang all out in public.
the person right in front of me that I'm trying to talk to is just as loud as everything else in the room. It's just hard to do. We usually get in the car at the end of the night, and what do I say?
What were they talking about? I said, I
Give me
don't
the
know.
scoop. Like, what was so-and-so talking about? I have no idea.
We're partners in crime. Partners in crime. Those are a lot of the downsides to wearing hearing devices, but there are probably some upsides. Like, what are the benefits of having this technology
Muting.
in your ears
Muting.
all the time?
Once they came up with Bluetooth capability, I can now mute anything that I want.
Bro, I'm so smart today.
Right on my phone.
Well, I don't know why you'd want to do that ever. There's nothing ever happening here that is loud. You also do this thing where you'll be on your phone, like she'll just be like doing whatever, right? And I'll be talking to her and she has no idea because the phone sends audio directly to her hearing aids without her having to wear
Built-in
Any-
AirPods.
Mm.
headphones,
Yeah.
AirPods, what
Bro.
have you. So like, if she doesn't tell me ahead of time that I'm watching something, I'll be having a full conversation with her and I'll be like, Kath, So are there any other additional unexpected benefits?
Well, one thing I can say just from the whole experience of hearing loss in general is that it's kind of given me a greater sort of compassion and empathy. You never know what challenges someone might be facing. It's like my disability is not visible. You can't look at me and know. Most people would not know.
Correct.
That I was dealing with that. So having that experience myself helps me to give others the benefit of the doubt. If you're an aggressive driver, though, I'm not gonna
yeah, get out of the way. Now, why make this video? What's the point of it all? That's actually a really great question.
Well, I just think it's a conversation that is good to have. Hearing loss is it's more common than you would think. You know, when I started to experience it, I was looking for answers or anything that would help me get through that process.
Right. So if this is a jumping off point for a larger conversation, that's awesome. Additionally, protect your hearing. If you damage your hearing, it's gone forever.
Right.
Earplugs, like little foam earplugs, they cost, I wish I had some with me. They cost like nothing, and they will literally save your hearing if you are exposed to loud sounds on a regular basis. Like I spend all day with cans on, just like working, arranging and listening and singing. So it's just like, you know, when I'm out, earplugs. Thank you for sharing everything. Is there anything that you'd like to say to anybody out there who might be going through something like this or just discovering their hearing loss?
Try not to give up, obviously. Anything can happen, even if it's not hearing loss. Anything that is maybe derailing your path, it's okay to give yourself some time to be sad or angry about it, and then allow yourself to get past that. Try to be open to whatever comes next.
Could be anything.
It could be anything, and you just never know. I mean, I fought it for a very long time. I tried desperately to hang on to what I was doing at the time because I felt like that was what I identified with. And after a few years of...
Yeah, because she would have to literally change her profession, her path, and your identity that is tied to those things.
Going through that whole process, I found out that it was okay on the other side because there were other skill sets that I learned. There were other things that I found were fulfilling to me that I may not have known about, you know, before if this had never happened to me. So for anyone going through anything like that, give yourself that ability to like try and see what might be on the other side for you. It may be great.
Well said. I'm super proud of you.
Oh, thank you. I'm super grateful for you.
Oh, he's tearing up.
Shall we hug it out?
Ow.
There we go.
This is so wholesome.
So that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Take care of your hearing, take care of each other, and I'll see you soon.
So wholesome.
How's my face?
Good.
Good. You look way prettier than I do.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching. If you or someone you know is experiencing hearing loss and needs more guidance, or if you'd like to donate to a hearing loss charity, we've dropped some links in the description below. Take care of yourselves, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah, that is a great video for so many reasons. I feel like there are just so many positives to take away from it. First of all, just knowing about hearing loss and the extent to hearing loss that this country faces, 1 in 8 is a staggeringly high statistic. I did not think it was that high. Learning how to recognize the signs, what to do if you have it, who to go see, like an audiologist. That's like a profession I was unaware of, and hearing about the pros, the cons, and the mindset to deal with things. It's, you know, videos like this are the reason why situations can be made aware of earlier on. And, you know, it is kind of foolish, in my opinion, to hide many of these issues in darkness, in taboo. I'm glad that Geoff was vulnerable enough and Kathy was vulnerable enough to put this out there because, you know, all things considered, there are a lot of detractors, people who are there to criticize and wish ill, but they are such good people that they will use their life experiences as a way to help others and the voice players and the fans and just anybody who even sees it, because it doesn't have to do with the music. It has to do with health. And, at the end of the day, we want I think the majority of us, at least in this world that we inhabit, especially as voice players, we want the best for our fellow man, fellow woman, anybody. So it's just a great message. It really puts into perspective too, like for us who, I react to music all the time now, and for anybody who just listens to music frequently, which, I was also that person. Many of you are that person as well, to keep in mind that things can happen. They can get out of your control without realizing it. And once, the snowball starts to form, it gets harder and harder to stop. If we can recognize the signs sooner or adapt our behaviors to our ever-evolving environments, technologically or otherwise, we can at least stave off some of what may be to come. But, in this case with Kathy, it wasn't even environmental. In her case, it was degenerative, so it happened anyways. That's kind of scary to think about, but also, again, puts into perspective that many people are dealing with many different things, and it's just best to lead with kindness and compassion, because you just don't know what others are dealing with. And this is a great video to start off the reaction with. I hope y'all enjoyed watching it with me. We have to check out the next one here. You don't mess around with Jim, rather. But before we jump in, if you're enjoying my reaction so far, hit that subscribe button. And if you would like to request a reaction yourself, you can hit the link in the description box down below. That is the best way to support my channel. All right, now let's hear some singing.
Uptown's got its hustlers, the Bowery has got its bums, and 42nd Street's got Big Jimmy Walker. He's a pool shooting son of a gun. Yeah, he's big and dumb as a man can come, but
pool shooting, bullshitting kind of thing.
Shooting son of a gun. Yeah, he's big and dumb as a man can come, but he's stronger than a country horse. And when the bad folks all get together at night, they all call him Big Jim Boss, just because. Just because.
A lot of soul in this.
You don't tug on Superman's cape. You don't spit into the wind. You don't pull the mask off the old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Jim.
Well, out of South Alabama come a country boy. He said, I'm looking for a man named Jim. I am a pool shooting boy, my name is Willie McCoy, but down home they can call me Slim. Said I'm looking for the king of 42nd Street. He's driving a drop-top Cadillac. He took all my money, and it may sound funny, but I come to get my money back. Everybody say, Jack, don't you know? You don't tug on Superman's.
I love the bounciness to this, and the 5 Jeffs instead of 4. I think if we had to average how many Jeffs we get in each of these covers, I think it's usually between 4 and 5. So 5 this time.
Everybody say, Jack, don't you know? You don't tug on Superman's cape. You don't spit into the wind. You don't pull the mask off the old Lone Ranger, and you
don't mess around with Jim. Well, a hush fell over the pool room, and Jimmy come bopping in off the street. And when the cutting was done, the only part that wasn't bloody was the sole of the big man's feet. Yeah, he was cutting about 100 places, and he was shot in a couple more.
Oh my
and
God.
You better believe they sung a different kind of story when Big Jim hit the floor. Woo. Now they say you don't tug on Superman's cape. You don't spit into the wind. You don't pull the mask off the old Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with Slim. Come on.
you don't tug on Superman's cape. You don't into the wind.
You don't
Pull the mask off the old Lone Ranger, and
don't mess around.
I gotta hear that whole sequence there.
You don't pull the mask of the whole Lone Ranger, and you don't mess around with
It just drags you down to hell. Oh.
Hey y'all, Geoff here. Thanks for watching.
I can't
Just
see
wanted
that
to give
low.
a quick shout out to some of the folks that help make these videos possible and keep this guy supplied in dog biscuits. Baldra Draco, Tema Krempley, Juliana Livingston, Diane Holland, Sarah Borzelli,
Juliana.
Sarah O, Lori Templeman, Laura Mueller, Patricia Schumann, Debbie Goodling, Jordy S, A.M. Person, Carl and Melanie Thomas, Asa M. Lagnestal and Dorothy Brune, and Debs Badger. If you'd like a peek behind the curtain and even more perks than I can possibly name here, head on over to Patreon and sign up today. You can even sign up for free. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see y'all soon.
Yeah, man, this was a real treat to get to react to today. I'm glad to hear the hearing loss story. Pun not intended, but hey, we got there in the end anyways. And then Don't Mess Around with Jim, just another classic Geoff performance. I love that he just brings in 5 Geoffs. Maybe we get 6 Geoffs next time. I don't know how many Geoffs you could get to a point where it's like a critical mass of Geoffs where each additive Geoff, the value would be like decreasing marginal utility. What is the economic concept? Marginal utility? What am I talking about at this point? I have no idea. I just know that that was a fun song. Geoff and Kathy are amazing people. No wonder the voice play and Geoff Castellucci communities are just filled with positivity, brimming, overflowing. It's one of the best things about doing these reactions is getting to read your comments. So I appreciate you all. Leave a comment down there as always, and I will see you in the next one. Hey friends, I hope you all enjoyed the reaction today. And if you'd like me to react to one of your favorite songs, you can hit the link in the description box down below. It is the best way to support my channel. But in any case, your support, your kindness, your comments, your likes, they mean the world to me, and I just wanted to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you. And as always, my friends, have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and peace.